Hello and welcome back to Fireside Improv. This is chapter 32 of this Karl Franz saga. Karl Franz just sacked his settlement deep in the heartland of Norska. He still has another force nearby. He knows he has to be careful so he can get back to the safety of his outpost. Elsewhere in the Empire, there is still a green skin force that is marching deeper into the Empire territory. There is an army going to intercept, but there are also demonic forces approaching the Brass Keep and elsewhere in the central core of the Empire. But this is freeing up Kislev to get a little bit of breathing room and hopefully push back. And so Valmir is going to march up towards those greenskins.
Onwards!
Brasskeep is going to be the sacrificial settlement. Unfortunately, such is life in the Empire where hard choices has to be made.
Here to serve.
Ralph Koch is almost ready to be able to march out, but needs a little bit more time. Between him and Raukov, they're hopeful that they can push back the demons. Down in Sylvania, where there was once a vampiric corruption in the land, the Emperor has ordered the reconstruction of Tempelhof and Fort Oberstyre particularly. The dwarves are going to have to be pushed out, both from Sylvania and other eastern parts and Averheim. And so these settlements need to be built up in preparation for that war. The Emperor is feeling optimistic about pushing back the demons, despite the back and forth that has been experienced. He does know that if he wants that empire to be whole, those settlements are going to be key. So building them up is of great importance. Thedric has done his task of reclaiming Gorsel and is being allowed to be at peace for now.
My journey begins.
Rupert has the same situation where he has accomplished his task of protecting Wrecker's Point, which is no longer needed. Archaon has actually marched back away from the Brass Keep, allowing only the one demonic horde to continue to push on in that direction. The Greenskins march back deeper into the woods, knowing that they are no match for Valmir's army. Eldred's wounded forces are going to march back to Wrecker's Point. They do pick up some treasure on the way that they discovered, but they have come back in order to recruit some further forces that they can continue their expedition in Norska. They have not given up that task, that mission from the Emperor. They know its importance, and one defeat, one setback isn't going to dissuade him. Valmir heads into the forest to hunt down the Greenskin Lord and army, while Ralph marches forward and into the Strait in order to protect their outpost in the Long Ship Graveyard, as the Norskins call it. The Emperor finishes up taking down
I command
the
here.
Norskin fortress. This time he has already taken the riches, so he is going to destroy every last brick, every last stone, tear it down so that it can no
Bring me to
longer
my men.
be used to call upon forces to attack the Empire. Many agents of the enemies have mauled
I
the
am
Emperor's
Prince
camp
and
day in
Emperor.
and day out. They poke and prod at the defenses, hoping to be able to
Move!
damage the army, damage Karl Franz, but they are able to escape. While in the
Yes.
Empire,
War
Valmir does
calls.
catch up with the Greenskin horde and eradicates them so that they are no longer a danger. He turns
I
back
will
around
marshal the
to
men
bring his attention back to Archaon
to
and the
strengthen the
other
Empire.
demons.
To battle.
The demons Ralph was
Ready to serve.
protecting
Honored
against
to
made their
serve.
way into the mainland of the
Faith
Empire,
shields us.
so he turns back as well. You may have forgotten about loyal Gustav Klaus. He has been loyally and faithfully
True
protecting
servant
the
of
southern
Sigmar.
fort stroll of the Empire. He is still sitting there waiting for further instructions. And now is the time for him to get back in the action. He's going to march up to Grunberg, that southern part of the
I
Empire,
serve the
is
Heldenhammer.
defended by allies on the far side. The Skaven threat has been eradicated, and so it is time for him to join the battle against the demons.
Yes, my lord. The nation calls.
Hergig is the next city to fall. Archaon himself is there to oversee its destruction. They do not have any chance at all against the Lord of the End Times, who promptly sacks it but does not destroy it utterly. The other demonic horde does the same to the Brass Keep. It also has no hope of protecting itself, and it is taken
Come.
over as a fortress.
It is time. Pick up the pace.
Ralph
Champion of the
Koch
faith.
hunts down the demons near Solzhenmund, and with
The
the
Empire!
combined forces of the garrison and himself, they are able to eradicate that host and then begin his march to meet up with Valmir instead of going along Norden. Solzhenmund is able to protect itself, but there are too many forces
Moving
that
out.
are pushing into
Sigmarite Arch Lector.
juicier, unprotected lands. that need to
I
be
will marshal
protected.
the men. What does
Eldred
the Emperor
looks
bid?
to top up his forces, but decides to wait a little bit more as he still
Is it
has
time?
units that need a little bit more topping up
The
themselves
Empire.
before pushing out. The Emperor is doing the same, coming back to his outpost, to his strongholds, recruiting a few more soldiers before pushing out again to his next target. The longship graveyard is attacked by a small force, but it is able to hold it off and survive for the time being. Archaon continues his reign of destruction, as does the other demonic hosts. Both are pushing, continuing to push into Empire
Servant of the
territory.
faith.
They do not want to give any respite. Ralfkoch and Volmir
Yes,
von
of course.
Raukov
This
combine
will
their
bolster
forces
the
on the
nation.
march down to protect Middenheim, while Eldred starts his
So,
sailing
we
around
march.
the coast of Norska
Yes, a sound plan.
in order to start acting as the raiders do and destroy
Onwards.
these coastal settlements.
It is for the best.
So,
by Sigma. My journey begins. Sigmarite Archlector.
Gustal starts his construction of his army. He has his elite basic soldiers that have been protecting the southern part of the empire already in his service, but he does need to top it up with elite, well-trained, well-armed warriors as well.
Battle Wizard,
Of course, he gets his
come
battle
forth.
wizard and captains as well.
Meet me. Weapon
The Emperor learned
practice.
that none of his armies should be without
Direct me.
great heroes of the
They'll
Empire
be
to
marching all right.
come with them. So all armies must have these heroes along with them. And Telebheim is the next to fall to Archaon. The cities of the Empire quake in terror, knowing that this rampage is on the loose, going city from city.
Your word
Gustal
is my command.
tries his best to recruit his army as quickly as possible. He even looks to Bretonia to top up his forces to make sure that he can ride out as quickly as possible. The Bretonians are known for their great cavalry. And so he does request from the King of Bretonnia some of their fabled knights.
Amber Wizard! Yes! Their treasures are mine! Drill!
The nation calls. Get training! I serve Sigma.
Volmir and
Who calls?
Ralph move down to
Onwards.
intercept
Protector of the
one
weak.
of the demonic hordes.
Who
Demonic Lord
calls?
also pushes into Norska to the Emperor. He needs a little bit more time to
Yes,
let
my
his men
lord.
rest.
Sigma
In
compels
the
us.
meantime, Eldred continues sailing around the coast as well to hit those unprotected Norscan settlements. And Middenstag is the next Empire city to fall. City after city is seeing the wrath of the demons. This one isn't entirely razed to the ground, but its riches are taken and many of its inhabitants slain. Both forces do continue to push deeper and deeper into Empire territory. Volmir looks to cut them
Yes.
off along with Mr. Ralph Koch.
By Sigma's right.
They come around trying to box him in the forest.
Beyond your comprehension!
They do believe that they have the strength, each individually, to
Let us
destroy
move.
his army. Of
Champion
course,
of
it would
the
be
faith.
easier if they were together,
Going forth.
but it is a wounded army, so they do think they might have the ability to each defeat him alone.
Warrior of Sigma.
Rusal needs a little bit more time to raise his forces, but Eldred does continue sailing up to the
Now?
Troll Fjord, far into Norscan territory.
Moving off.
No! You cannot play with me.
The Emperor ponders whether to march out immediately to deal with the demonic army that is raiding the Norscan countryside. There aren't many riches up there, but there are outriders, there are outposts that have been established. They've discovered some mines that they have
You'll
taken
incur
over.
my...
Having that army sitting there and raiding is not good, and so he is marching out to deal with them. He does fly out in front of the rest of his army. He wants to preserve as many soldiers of the Empire as possible in these fights, so he takes it upon himself to fly directly at the enemy lord, while his soldiers remain safe atop their hill. The Empire forces try to hold their line against the demons. The Hellstorm rocket batteries focus on the fire-throwing demons that look a bit like overgrown babies, but they do pack a punch, so they had to be dealt with immediately. Handgunners look to flank as well on the sides of the lines and unload. And it winds up being a very easy victory, as the Emperor was able to cut down the Demonic Lord pretty darn fast. and the rest of his demons fell quickly as well. If only all of the battles against the demons could go as easily, as swiftly as that one, this war would go a lot faster and a lot easier. After the Emperor has dealt with the remaining stragglers, he does go back to the altar of Crimson Harvest to recoup. Now that that larger threat has been dealt with, he looks to push again.
I will marshal the men.
And the demonic host in the Empire squeezes past the pincer movement and goes after the open city of Weissmand, which has also been sacked, its citizens murdered. Volmir and Ralph feel like failures for allowing yet another city of the
This
Empire
will
to
bolster
fall.
the nation.
Archaon is on the other side of the river as well. Gustal is tasked with protecting the city of Kemperbad, which appears to be where Archaon is headed. Either Altdorf or Kemperbad is in
Champion
danger.
of the faith.
But this other
by
demonic
Sigmar.
horde has to be dealt with
To the
first.
provinces.
Thaedric comes in Lorelorn Forest with the hopes of tracking down that demonic horde from the other side.
I am Franz. They will obey.
An army has come to the Troll Fjord, anticipating the movement of Eldred. So Eldred decides to go ahead and pass up that target and continue going to the northernmost reaches of Norska that is undefended. The Emperor hasn't forgotten about his dear city of Oleg. It is getting more resources poured into it in order to aid its reconstruction after being sacked and destroyed previously. The more southern settlements are also continuing to be built up in anticipation of war with the dwarves. It seems slightly foolish to some members of the Empire to have a mind on going to war with future allies, but the Emperor cannot forget his promise to Oleg to make sure the Empire is fully whole, while his mind is currently on destroying and razing down all of the strongholds of the Norskins. He simply cannot wait until it is fully accomplished to start laying the foundations of reclaiming the rest of his empire that is still under the rule of non-humans. Many demons and Norskins have continued to assemble. As expected, the demonic horde that Valmir and Ralph have been hunting down did go up towards Lorelorn Forest, towards Thaedric, and they are able to find a way to come up, bring their armies marching through the nights, so that Thaedric can launch the invasion with or attack with them nearby.
Yes, my lord.
And catch the demonic horde so it can no longer run, and end this hunt that spanned a good chunk of the Empire.
So?
With that host finally eradicated after several cities have been sacked, Volmir and Ralph are free to look back at the Brass Keep and take it back
warrior of Sigmar.
As good as Gustal has been holding that southern part, Balthazar Gelt is the one selected to
You summon me.
hold Kemperbad against Archaon.
I am
The expectation is that he will continue to march to attack the settlement, and Balthazar Gelt's magics will be needed to hold him off. Eldrick continues to march up, and it does
What
appear
does the
that
Emperor bid?
these far north settlements near the northern Chaos Wastes, where everything turns to twisted demonic entities, is undefended. More orcs have appeared in Norska. These greenskins, the Emperor has learned that they simply have to be eradicated as soon as they are found. They will be in league with the Norskins, with the demons, and so they do simply have to be eradicated. And so he does do so. He does turn his attention to the Longship Graveyard, where several Norskin forces have assembled for a counterattack. So he can't yet push up into Norska to raise those settlements, but Eldred is continuing that task. Nearly at what is called the Serpent Jetty, only known in myth and legend to the people of the Empire. It's the first time in a long time any have deigned to sail that far north, and now it is done simply to destroy it and raze it to the ground.
I serve the Heldenhammer.
To the provinces. Let us move.
Some dwarves have come to help with the demonic forces. The Emperor does warn them not to try to settle the Empire territories, as they will regret it if they do, but their help is more than welcome to kill the demons. The settlements that were sacked are being reconstructed. People are moving back in, but Archaon is launching his attack deep, deep in the Emperor, near Altdorf in Kemperbad. Balthazar Gelt is there, ready to meet that threat. If he is to fall here, the core lands of the Empire will be open to the threat of Archaon sacking them, which cannot be allowed.